NIP with that first pick on that red side. We will see some similar bans coming through.
Jace is currently open. Jace is currently banned.
Oh, it was actually first pick on the EDG side. So we do have a little bit of a swap up coming through. So they elected that first pick. And then NIP chose red side.
That is unique. We were talking about how good red side has looked so far, but that's mostly because red side has been first pick, generally speaking, after the changes with first selection. So this is a, I suppose, interesting return to form of normal drafting for all of the other years of our wonderful esport, as now, with a lot of the priority champions ticked off, ADCs have had both an amazing and terrible time this series.
True.
Assum decides Misfortune is the way that he can try and be on the prior of the two. Now, as we take a look through the rest of it, a heavy priority towards the top side, slamming that down and actually leaving Leave second rotation for the ADC pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will come back to bite them. We'll have to see. Maybe they could still pivot their mind, but Angel looking to take away that Talia. Ari is the expected pickup for Care here to go with that Vi. We saw it to great effect earlier in the day.
I'm not going to lie. I think Leave is still not going to have fun in this game for a second game in a row. So maybe they just don't care what he gets at this point. They need to make sure that this top side is set up. And it is a classic for Xiaohao. You get that Wukong coming through. But, man, everything is looking right as rain for NIP right now with this combo and the wombo that's going to be followed.
I'm checking Hoya stats right now. He has played a decent amount of Gwen. This is the thing I want to be banned away if I am EDG. You should not be letting Gwen get through when you have a Cassante, especially when you look at the potential enabling tools that the rest of the squad has. This is something that, especially, again, with a Wukong jungle who does not like AP threats, I want to see this banned out from EDG. I'm not exaggerating how silly Gwen feels, particularly with this Dusk and Dawn item right now. It's primarily being picked in jungle because you get the free scaling, but ever since post-Worlds, Gwen got all of her nerfs effectively reverted. She's just back to where she was before, everybody. Yeah. It's Gwen. You've all seen it. Like, if you've watched one pro play game in the past year or so, there's a very good chance you saw a Gwen take over, and EDG, I think you should be very wary of it because NIP has been more than willing to reach deep into champion pools.
All right, we'll see. It's open right now as Jin was the focus for NIP in the final ban. It's Karma by EDG. We've seen Leave had some incredible Jin games as well, but we'll see what NIP want to go with. And you still got to remember there's going to be that counter pick available.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options, and actually opting to take away the Poppy technically is a flex between top and support, but more realistically expecting it to be in that bottom lane. There is the Ashe Seraphine angle alive for EDG.
Do it. Or Ashe support.
Could do. They were very confident to let Leave go through to second rotation. So that indicates either, as you were leading into, they don't care about Leave anymore and he's going to have a bad time regardless. Or, what it seems to potentially be, EDG is cooking. We have the Ashe.
Look at this CC chain. Like, I just feel
I
like
need to
it's
see
still
Seraphine.
Not going to matter.
I think if you show me Seraphine, there's legs. If you don't show me Seraphine, what are we doing? That's where I sit right now, because Leona,
Could
I
we
suppose.
see Renata?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, there's full dive. It's all right, but you don't have a quick tool to cancel the MF ult. Is the part that I'm worried about now. If support, whatever it is, whether it be the Poppy or otherwise, stands in front of the Misfortune, bullet time's gonna be a real problem. So, I mean, EDG, we'll have to wait and see what NIP finish off the draft with. These two can get a lot done in early laning phase, which has realistically been where a lot of the games have been decided out of this matchup so far. Interesting.
It's going to be the Poppy Toppy.
It is Poppy Top. Okay, alright.
Okay.
It's I don't love it. Poppy does do very well into Cassante because she could just kind of outtrade him and mitigate any go in from the Cassante. Even if he holds that W and tries to push forward, Poppy can bounce him back off. So it's fine. It's a fine matchup top lane. Is leading with the Poppy and then flexing it to top worth getting a Misfortune Leona lane?
Yeah.
I need to see Guwon do some magic level 3 on Vi to snowball this bot lane ahead, because that has been the name of the series. We have seen how impactful it can be if you manage to get a lead down there, and I think it is all but essential to win this game if you are NIP now.
Well, hey, we've had a lot of storylines coming into this series. We talked so much about Clear Love coming back to EDG, Leave coming back to EDG, but not only that, Leave facing off against the organization he was just a part of last year and trying to prove that game 2 was a little bit of a fluke, that it's more game 1 that he wants to represent. But Assum might have a little bit more to say in that one. We focus so much around what this jungle matchup has been like for this series, and I still think it holds such a big undercurrent at what this series is going to unfold to be. And I think that aggressive, proactive style from both of them is going to be extremely present in this game 3, Melvin.
I think for Xiaohao, it's so much more difficult on this Wukong. Just doesn't have the tools to get a lot done early, but we'll have to see what it ends up being.
Game 3 kicking off now, EDG versus NIP. They brought it to 3 games. They deserve some Jios. Look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well earned to be able to drag it this far. As taking a quick look at the runes, I think we have double spellbook supports once again, back to, I would say, the somewhat normal we've had for basically however long it's been since they buffed that spellbook rune, back to being good. And interesting, we do have Scorch and Mana Flow banned from Hoya. Very lane focused runes. Presumably going to be looking for an early Fimbulwinter along with that extra stacking mana as well. Makes this Poppy really hard to kill in these fights. The not Sterax, but the other lifeline item that we just got added, the Protoplasm Harness, has incredible synergy with Poppy, because when she gets low health, she gets a ton of resistances. And the Protoplasm Harness is very cheap, and the amount of health you regen from it is scaling based on your resistances. So when it procs, Poppy becomes nigh unkillable for the best part of 5 seconds. So if the game is even still going by that point, fantastic. Typically, though, this series has been determined within the first 2 minutes bot lane.
Quick shout. The reason why Zhuo wanted to go for that engage is because Leave has leveled Hawkshot level 2 to try to find the path of Guwon. So he doesn't have any, at least pressure in the lane, but did have a little bit of vision play for Xiaohao. Very interesting.
I think that's a fair adaptation. I mean, we came into the first game of the series and it was really decided by not having a ward in the bush for NIP. It just allowed Xiaohao to run the game, and you know what? I think they are giving Guwon the respect he deserves on this fight early game. Not a champion that could get a lot done, but with the flash, you could get exactly a good amount done once. That is Vi in the early game. If you get a good amount done with that flash, we saw it do incredible things in the prior series with TES and Weibo.
Yeah, about a 2 minute and 40 or so second clear from both junglers, now getting active to the scuttles on either side. This is the first time we are seeing the opposite side paths early on, and gonna see what that all leads out to, as Angel using the last bit of his mana to get some trade onto Care. It will be the resets from the junglers to get back out on the map. We have about 2 minutes for that first dragon to spawn, and EDG have Prio on the bot side.
Good bit of poke coming down. This is what you expect when you have the double ranged laners. Thing is, especially for the Leona not having the Aftershock and being on the spellbook, it makes this early game even more difficult pre 6 minutes, when you can start swapping to get some extra summoner value. We do essentially, I would say, have cleanse for both ADCs. When you are in both a lane against Leona and a lane against Ashe, you can pretty much lose the entire lane off of a single moment at level 6 onwards. So a good amount of respect from both these ADCs, who have learnt the hard way this series what it is like to be the full focus of the enemy's wrath.
Yeah. Again, whoever bullies bot lane first, but it's bullying mid lane first. NIP with a combo. Guwon getting first blood.
I see question mark pings on the minimap. I don't know exactly how Guwon got there to have not been spotted out by the ward. In fact, I truly don't know how he could have done that without being seen. So we'll just have to hope that there is a replay that explains that in the vision, because the ward that Angel had down just timed out. So yeah, he was very confused about that.
That's a bit troublesome, especially in a do-or-die game for this series, at least. And you have to remember, I mean, it had not been a good start for EDG in this season. I mean, they lost whole-handedly to WE, 2-0.
For the record, looked rubbish in the Demacia Cup.
Absolutely.
Like, everybody was telling me how scary WE looked because of Monkey, and he did not play well for Demacia Cup. I love creative junglers, and I was not impressed. We see him against EDG, I see what everybody's talking about all of a sudden. So, as soon as the actual split has started, we've got a bit of a turnaround in form, and unfortunately, the same for EDG, who went 4-0 in their Demacia Cup group and have showed up to the regular season and not looked like the same team that we saw pull off some pretty dominant games, generally speaking.
You're going to see some ships in the night action from the junglers around the dragon pit, but now not just floating around. Guwon is just going to start the dragon. No contest coming out from EDG.
Going to be picking up a Scuttle Crab on the top side. If Xiaohao is lucky, can get up there and take away the Krugs as well. This is known information from Leave using that Hawk shot up there. Again, it's really going to be about tracking the junglers and trying to mute some of these early plays. We've had Guwon excellently either slink around vision or catch Angel while he's sleeping. We don't know yet. We'll have to check that one after the game to know which it truly was. But at the end of the day, a kill's a kill. Gold lead's a gold lead. It's going to make a difference for these early backs, especially if either of these mid laners can tick over to the Lost Chapter before the other. Angel has the tier, but even then, when you're against a full Lost Chapter, it makes it really difficult to fight for wave control, which then has the snowball effect of not being able to join up your jungler for side lane plays.
I just want to take a look as well, and when you're talking about some of those side lane plays, a lot of that is set up around vision, and right now NIP just have full control of vision towards this bot side, towards this river in the bot lane, and now they're going to TP onto the bot lane as well. This is not on vision. They will see the Hawk shot coming through here as well, leaving Parukia. Going to play pretty confidently with Zhuo having used the TP from the spellbook.
And you know what? Based on how this series has played out so far, the Ashe is looking like somewhat of an inspired pick to avoid the cataclysm around bot lane, as this is by far the most peace we have had in the first 7 minutes of a game this series, and I think the Ashe plays no small part in it. You see Xiaohao actually thinking that his Raptors were being taken, cutting camps and running over here early. Isn't going to actually be under threat, and if anything, this is going to make his clear a bit jank from this point onwards, because now his Raptors and Krugs aren't going to be synced up, and considering how desperately Wukong wants to get over to the Triforce, this is going to make it a bit more difficult. That pressure from NIP, no matter how subtle, is making a difference. It is forcing these Hawk shots out, it is letting bot lane get priority, and it is also buying time for the level 6 markers when the NIP squad gets real spooky.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to talk about next as well. We have hit those level 6s, and that combo is available, and Lee's feeling the brunt of that right now. Get a decent amount of damage back onto Assum. Get the cleanse out instantaneously from Assum. Little bounce back with the double tap. Instant cleanse from Leave. They're showing off some mechanics down here in the bot lane. But Zhuo wants to capitalize on Leave's overextension. They do get the flash out as well. Both are going down. Now Xiaohao is over here as well, trying to capitalize on their retreat from the turret. But that won't come to pay out, as it will just be the turret plates for EDG.
Very respectful from NIP to back off there. I think fighting it under tower after just trading all of the summoners bar one flash on each side from the bot lane is the right idea. Wukong with ultimate can turn this into complete devastation, and I think everybody wants to see both bot laners get to play on an equal footing for once, instead of just having it be taking it in turns who gets to play the game.
It was just so funny. It's like watching a little bit of like 4D chess there. It's like, okay, you use this summoner spell, so then I'm going to use this one on you, and then you have to use that one, and then the only one left with something is Assum with a flash on bot side, and Parukia with his own flash. So
I felt like I could hear the summoner's augment, like summoner's roulette augment from Arena, that like in that fight. It just was the da-da-da-da-da every time a summoner got used. Trade it for an ult. Okay, trade it for another summoner. All right, trade it for an ult. Yeah, completely agree. It was a nice back and forth between the bot laners to avoid any deaths, and I think Not having cleanse is probably going to be a bigger problem. Hold on. Okay, yeah. A bigger problem for Leave is what I was going to say. Womp.
The control war.
That makes a lot more sense now. A very tragic toggle over to the vision. But
oh, they'll rip them apart, man. As soon as anything goes wrong, LPL observers, they've got it on point. Ooh. Little flash. Okay, now he won't have his flash.
And that's why I was saying I think this is going to be worse for Leave all in all, because even if you get a dead accurate arrow, Assum did have the flash, which is going to buy enough time. The MF is quite quick, and so I don't think we're going to see an isolated Renata ult play. But now, with Zhuo coming back to the bottom lane, always option of a Hex Flash ult onto Leave, and then you are just dead to bullet time. So this is NIP's turn. They are playing a really lovely back and forth in the bottom lane, and now can Leave avoid the pressure for a few moments until he gets one of those summoners back.
Next thing we're looking at is about 30 seconds for that dragon. Again, NIP would love to stack these up early. We're going to get an all-in here with the all-out from ZDZ, trying to get some damage on a Hoya. We're going to get a little bit back, throws the buckler, and now has a little bit of a health advantage, missing the Q3 as well as ZDZ as he walks back away. That does mean a little bit of early trades, and Hoya having TP advantage in topside.
Very, very happy with that. There is a reason this Poppy is a counter pick, because every time the Cassante goes to trade, Poppy can just out-trade. It really is just, she does the same kind of pattern that as him, but you get the buckler for the shield, and also when you go in for the all-in, ZDZ just doesn't have the damage to break through a Poppy this early on. They do at least come back with the Iceborne Gauntlet and Pocket, but it is going to be 4 members of NIP spotted out on the bottom side. It will be a Dragon start, and the Wukong is lurking in bottom lane without Triforce, though. Guwon already has the Sundered Sky in pocket.
Yeah, that's such a big differential happening here with this setup. It's like Xiaohao is going to make his way down here. Zhuo has vision on this, knowing that they're going to walk over. EDG are falling into a bit of a trap. They realize what's happening. The Weaver's Wall is available from Angel if he wants to try to make a play, if he wants to try to cut anybody off, but EDG will wait in the bushes and wait while Dragon is secured by NIP.
If you told me after the first 2 games, Game 3 is going to be a back-and-forth chess match, I wouldn't believe you. Actually, I just wouldn't believe you. Like, this is just so much.
Ooh, care. Takes the extra turret shots, almost goes down.
Okay, it didn't actually have to blow the ultimate or the flash, but that is going to be sacrificing all pressure in the lane for the moment. Probably going to be a TP back, and if you can't afford the Malignance, you're going to feel real silly about that for Care.
You get the payoff here. Oh, nope. You get the ad before, plus the stats as we look back to the mid lane. Zhuo connects onto Angel. Care came back just in time with the cease and desist coming through from Guwon. They take down Angel. No recompense here, and Care will get himself on the board.
With the Malignance in pocket as well, was barely able to afford that one, so what looked like it could have been a way to throw away all mid lane pressure, bailed out by the support. Really good roam from Zhuo, and focusing down the Talia importantly. Yeah, chef's kiss, not going to complain. We actually now, if we pan up to the top, we have some quests getting completed. They're all starting to tick over now. Both mid laners actually behind. Normally, mid lane's the one that finishes their quest first, but this has been a relatively trade light lane in the mid.
Ooh, ZDZ starting to lose this one out. Goes for the all-out play onto him. Gets a little bit of CC onto Hoya, but not too much. But, I mean, that's just one of those plays that makes a difference, right? Like, if this game ends up going NIP's way, like, that is one play out of maybe 5 that you'll say, like, that can make the difference in this one. That just little minute timing differential, and the fact that Care knew how to play it.
100%, and it is going to have repercussions, because with Talia not having flash now, well, Rift Herald's up in a minute, Dragon's up in 3. Not going to have flash up for either of them, barely on the Dragon side, but even then, it is going to give options for NIP who want to use this mid jungle support trio to force fights and get something done. The question is, on the other side, can EDG pressure down Assum on this misfortune? A champion who has really, really been just hovering in that, not S tier, but like A tier, B tier, for pretty much the entirety of what we've seen for about 3 months or so at this point now. She just is really good at eating pressure and dealing a bit out, but has her clear weaknesses. Does not impact the fights in the same way as a typical auto attacker like the Yanara can. She has to win in a different, unique manner.
I'll have to keep a side eye on that one moving forward here. Speaking of moving forward, though, we're just cresting into 2 items here, sooner rather than later, at least, for Leave and Assum, and trying to figure out how quickly these mid laners are going to continue to get active. Because, again, there's this, on paper, just lethal combo of the Ahri and the Vi, and you can see NIP want to use that combo on the map now.
And we pan over to EDG, the execution barrier much higher. If you want to get a combo, it needs to be an Ashe Arrow, a raw Talia W, an Ashe Slow into a Talia W maybe is your most reliable pick tool. And when we're having to reach this far, yeah, I mean, for a team that's form has been incredibly variable, just in general, especially within this series in of itself, makes life difficult. I will point out, though, Parukia understands the assignment, has bought Bandle Pipes.
There you go. That's a dub. EDG now looking for their own play. Again, they have that trigger pull. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow just got used, actually, so that'll be down, and I don't really see any flashes that are just burned, except maybe Zhuo's, I guess. As ZDZ and Hoya continue the wet noodle fight that is bot and / top lane.
And that's all we're going to get from this side.
Oh, Angel, there's the combo. You knew what was coming when they drafted it, and they throw it right into their face. Another big kill for Care.
There's a reason that Vi Ahri has been a dynamic duo for the past few years. It's exactly that. How can play? Like, truly, how can play? As Hoya getting a really slick trade onto ZDZ. There is a dive threat available. If you do not respect this Poppy, the ability to go QR into another Q after chasing you down, it's real. And will give a bit of space on this bottom side of handing plates over to Hoya, as it will be an objective trade on the map. Despite NIP getting the winning end of that top lane play, it will not convert into the Herald, but instead, the 3rd dragon in what is another Cloud Soul game.
I kind of like this from NIP, though. They're saying, you're not going to be able to check us at that Dragon Soul fight. We are just going to go with the guarantee, and we think we can defend off of your Rift Herald play. So now it's really up to EDG to get value out of that Rift Herald usage, but NIP were taking the Dragon, taking pressure on bot side, and just flexing their muscles a bit.
I also think it's good recognition when you're against a Talia to undervalue or value the Herald less, because the ability to throw up the wall and mitigate a Herald play, it feels like a waste of time. Like, the best you get from the objective is that gold and empowered recall. So I think this is definitely, after you set right decision from NIP to opt for that, get that inevitability in there and force EDG to show up to a fight at some point.
Angel, I don't think you won that fight, brother. I think Hoya might win that one.
It's Poppy champion. She's really good top lane. I just didn't expect NIP to necessarily have the... Okay. I was going to say to have the ability to snowball this early game, and I wouldn't even say the early game is super snowball, but at least on the objective front. By the way, I just noticed that Zhuo has not finished his support quest yet.
Yeah, it's a little tough. 18 minutes in. Dodges out the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Goes back in for the fight, realizing he needs to do something. But all the combo is off. NIP just fully flubbed their engage. The bullet time coming through, but it didn't matter. Leave picks up a kill, and EDG get away scot-free.
Going to be a nice recovery, equalizing that, albeit medium-sized, gold lead. And will actually swing back with ZDZ being the recipient of this bot lane tower. Now, we have to think about what the repercussions of that are going to be coming to the next fight. No summoners for the Renata, no flash for the Vi. These are important tools when there's so much potential to go for quick picks like this on people.
Oh, man. I'm not going to lie. Guwon just... like, throwing himself into that cease and desist made Care miss everything. He literally knocked him out of his Q, and then he went back over, missed his charm, and those are the combinations that need to sink in if NIP are going to continuously win these fights.
Definitely a rough one, and it has given time for EDG to build up vision in the river. If this Wukong can tag over and get the Sundered Sky before the dragon fight, Xiaohao's quite scary. Simply put, it's a very difficult thing to kill a Wukong who has a Sundered Sky at this point in the game. It's going to take a lot of focus down from the team as Leave. I don't know how the heck they were in that situation, but Hoya roaming down from top lane, I think completely taking the EDG bot laner by surprise. Probably the first big misstep we've seen from them this game.
That's a tough one. That's going to be 5 minutes. And a little bit of at least answering that can come through if they want to try to pick Leave out yet again. But he is on second item already. And we'll take a look back at how he initially got caught. Just no vision stepping up to that bush.
Very nice from Hoya. That solid play to force it out. And I don't think this will be the full mid tower, because the thing about Herald is it just does a lot more effective damage when used earlier on for knocking down several plates at one go. If you want to do it for just that cash injection, isn't going to end up getting anything tower-wise here. Plates are cool, but at the end of the day, it's the mid lane tower pressure that is so important when you have roaming champions like the Talia, like the Ahri, like the Ashe, and the Misfortune, who love to stand under mid tier 1, rotate to a quick play, use ultimate, scoot back off to mid, and keep devouring those waves.
Yeah. A couple little things, little stopping point. The Hex Optics have been completed for Leave. He really likes that item. He got it on the Yunara as well in the game number 1. But it is that item where you do get a little bit extra attack range once you do get a kill, as well as it does more damage based on the distance you have from your target. But that also being said, second items are being completed on the other side as well. You already have Black Cleaver completed for Guwon, as well as the Collector for Assum.
Pretty scary stuff, pretty scary stuff. And I will say, that Hex Optics, I don't know if I love it this game, because I think the people you're auto-attacking are going to be a bit closer than 700 range away for Leave. Especially not having that flash. Just because you have Cleanse doesn't mean that Guwon would not like to know your location.
Care on 2.5 items. Actually has the Needlessly in pocket as well. You just saw Angel complete his second item. He is here. We haven't seen a big Weaver's Wall yet in this game. EDG needs something to go right for them, and Che Cristolero will be blocked in the end with that insta-cleanse off. And that'll be end up moving EDG back in the aggression that they wanted. Care tries to go capitalize on the Solar Flare, but that's not going to be enough. NIP missing their combo. They actually just dragged him out of the seismic shove. Things are going wide left and right, Melvin.
This does not feel like a chess game. This feels like two angry people throwing checkers at each other at this point. And now Crab will be secured. This will give NIP vision control over the area, but you have to have your Misfortune clearing out the mid wave or you're going to lose that tower. And EDG know this, recognize the opportunity, and push in to steal away the priority in the river. We do have Poppy Ult. Poppy Ult is one of the most scary things in an objective fight. If they want to contest, which it looks like NIP is saying, nah, they could have swung people away. They could still look for a play, though.
They were so late on deciding to go for the turret. All they do is get one Crystalline Growth proc on it, and that's all they come away with. Losing the dragon and a little bit of decision-making needing to be done by NIP, but EDG are the decisive ones.
And we do see Xiaohao forcing something. Isn't going to get the flash out of Care. That is another playmaking tool down. Second item.
Oh, man. Care missing the charm. Another one going a little bit wide, and the Spirit Rush being used now.
Isn't going to result in anything substantial, but at the end of the day, I think that was kind of an extra credit play to go for there. Everybody's grouped up in one place. Baron just spawned. If the charm hits on the right target, I don't think it was Cassante, but if the charm does hit on a more important member, you could potentially swing that into a game-ending play, so I don't mind fishing for it. As you were kind of alluding to, though, a lot of mis-executions in the past few fights. I think the nerves are getting to these players.
I fully agree. And, you know, a couple miscommunications mean a lot with the way that these comps line up, right? Like, if you handshake somebody away from seismic shove, that's one thing. If you cease and assist somebody out of Care's way and those combinations, like those are the things we've seen already happen. But there is still some decision-making power and a slight lead in terms of the matchup for Leave, which I think becomes more of a star point here for EDG as time goes on. If he gets a big pick with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, things change so quickly, and that's just the way that this game is. Dead even 24 minutes in.
think it's twofold. It's off Leave and also off Parukia. If he can keep his ADC alive in these fights, buying that extra space with the Renata ultimate, you're going to get so much value off of these bagpipes. You're going to get so much extra resources into Leave, and I think that's why he feels good about going for just this raw AD, going into the Infinity Edge next as well, instead of having to... Oh, actually, it's Kraken Slayer. Okay. Oh, wait, no, they had the Kraken Slayer, yeah. I just got confused because Infinity Edge jumped forward a slot. Good. I stand by my point. I was correct. I just confused myself.
There you
but
go.
Your attack speed comes from the support. It means you've got a lot more stats than people would be expecting an Ashe to have in such team fights. Asterisk, if you're allowed to click on anybody. Guwon could still change this.
He absolutely could, and I think that's their strategy coming from the draft, is they just wanted something easy to execute. And that was my big question for EDG, is they do not have necessarily ease of execution on their side for this game number 3, but we see TP coming into the top side. That will end up being Angel leaving with the Weaver's Wall. There was a deep chase coming in from Guwon, but it was NIP just starting to fish with their fishing tools.
I mean, when the Baron is up, and with the Ahri ultimate going to be a sub 60-second cooldown very soon, if not already, you want to get something done. You want to force out summoners from EDG. You want to force out big ultimates with these less committal tools. And I think that means that Care, with the biggest gold lead on his team, needs to be the person getting stuff done. Because if you can, that's that making a difference moment. That's that swinging the game in your favor. And it will make entirely these fights easier. Nearly towards that Rabadon's at this point on the Ahri. A lot of damage, but honestly, just want to see, get a good charm. That's it. Just go into all these fights, even throw it at, well, I would say Parukia, but he's actually had the cleanse sat on him for quite a long time from the spellbook. So the targets aren't bountiful for the Ahri, but you need to do something, because otherwise EDG just get continued free scaling, and Wukong outscales Vi. Talia and Ahri, it's up in the air. Depends on how you're playing the team fight. Bot lane, again, kind of similar situation. I think top lane in a team fight, ZDZ could get a lot more done than the Poppy. In the side lane, Hoya is just going to continue to be a big old nuisance.
I'm kind of digging the trajectory towards a Rabadon's for Care third item here, by the way. I kind of dig that. A little bit extra damage in the tank, as it's going to be NIP looking to get this turret down. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will be used yet again.
Spellbook cleanse away from that one, and we are finding ourselves back in a neutral position. As the game goes on, this Ashe ult will continue to get lower and lower, so yeah, again, we're talking about for Care, the non-committal pick tools being that Leave ultimate, something that we need to keep an eye on. Not as many defensive tools to back away after the fact now, as it is going to be dragging up in 16 seconds. Can EDG get away with robbery a second time?
NIP hesitant to fully commit to this. Cleanse going to be used by Leave. Hoya found a flank, but immediately has to back away. And you can see the hesitancy from NIP. They don't want to move in. They don't want to lose this game over what would be a second dragon for EDG. Care going for it. Can't hit the charm again. He misses it. Can't strike home on the Angel. And now EDG move back to the dragon. It's already down. That'll be second dragon in a row for EDG. Now they're going to chase down Zhuo. Look how much range Leave has. Look how much damage he's doing. And EDG trying to corral around NIP at this point. Xiaohao has been shown in mid lane. EDG going to back away with their prize.
And once again, EDG just working more as a unit. I think that there was just no true vision for what they wanted Hoya to do in that fight. Getting the initial flank onto Xiaohao doesn't get the wallbang. Instead, it just pushes the Wukong a little bit and then has to run away. But we saw Hoya recall on full HP and TP in, which doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, I get you want to get the 30% HP shield, and maybe the angle was I want to get my TP flank behind them. But I don't know. I think that was just NIP shot calling completely.
They're scared.
That play. Yeah, they
I think they're just scared.
And they need to do something. Care's been sat on 15 for quite a while. I don't know if he is closer to the Rabadons. You'd certainly hope that off of this wave at least he'd be at that point now, especially with how quickly these minion waves come tumbling in. But we need to see this mid laner get something done for Care. Got 100% kill participation because there's been 3 kills!
What did I tell you? I told you it's going to be a reserved slog of a game until we get to 65 minutes, and then it explodes. We got a lot of time to sit here, Melvin, so we'll be getting to that now. Okay, I'm going to get caught out a bit. Does a decent chunk with that Rabadon's
look at the wide flanks, though. Both sides.
And I find Leave. Leave's got to be a little bit careful. Bullet time in. They go for the combo. Charm connects that time. They found Promise, and they might have just found the Promised Land here in game number 3. Big hostile takeover to all 4 members there. And they get the kill belated there with that bailout, and that's going to be a big pick for Care. 2,000 gold up, and that means that NIP goes straight to the Baron.
I honestly thought there was a different Yordle on the Rift because Hoya's knockup felt like it was a flash in into a wild growth from a Lulu there. It was that much of an impact around the fight. We do have now 3 members of EDG looking to try and deny this. Jungler is still up, but he's not there yet. Has the flash available.
He's going to be denied. He's trying to get in, but Zhuo is going to keep him. They're going to turn on this fight, and they're going to lose their lives quickly if they do. Xiaohao playing a little bit here. Guwon committed to the Baron. This is getting dicey now. Xiaohao going for kills. There's not going to be any Baron buffs left. Now ZDZ is in the pit going all out, but immediately goes down as well. Xiaohao going to try to find another pick on a Hoya. Hoya dodging away for a little bit, but won't last for very long. Now they got the hawk shot coming through. They will get the Baron buff on 3 members, but they lose a little bit of tempo on the map.
The Baron resistance shred did so much to make that a playable fight for EDG. And Hoya holding down the fort. I think if they weren't Poppy, a lesser tank gets completely shredded right then, as you were alluding to. But those bonus resistances just give him a little bit more time to hold off the reinforcements, and it doesn't give Xiaohao the confidence to go for the full-on committal. We do have Dragon spawning in 2 minutes now. Open map. A lot of standing gold in towers and plates on the table. NIP can use this to run away with the game if they can just keep that confidence going. We saw a good force. We need them to do it again. You cannot, under any circumstances, let the game peter out from this point. We know how easy it is to throw away a winning game state if you aren't willing to force the ticket.
And now about 1 minute and 20 ahead of this next question for NIP. Will they let a 3rd dragon go in a row? Give NIP a little bit of question marks on how they want to approach this fight, because they've been so hesitant. They still have such a lethal combo with Care.
Even could upgrade to a Medjay depending on how much gold we see the mid laner of NIP base with. Sat on a lot of resources, a lot of damage in the inventory, especially as the sole AP threat makes it very difficult for EDG to itemize against that. Now we have...
Yep, there it is.
Pretty scary. Pretty scary. Still has the Seekers as well. With Flash, with Seekers. Care, I need you to start this next play. I need you to be the one that gets something done. Leave does not have Flash. Force him to use that cleanse, and then let the ultimates rain down upon them.
And, Brett, if you don't mind, if we can, I don't know if it's possible, if we can bring up that L3 of Care, because I think, again, I'm biased, but this guy's story has been insane. He is bred and born in the FPX fighting pits, it felt like, in the LDL, through their LPL team, and now he needs to make this moment his. They get the flash in from EDG, though. Look how much damage Care is doing. He's got a lot of resets coming through here now, too. Hoya gonna hit the Keeper's Verdict, and that means that 2 people are left by EDG to the wolves of NIP. They're wearing pajamas, and they're loving it. They found big picks ahead of this dragon fight.
I don't think it's over yet. Just because there's no jungler doesn't mean the play is over. Really narrow. Care does get that charm I asked for, and it looks like it will be enough to buy them the Dragon Soul, short of something disastrous. This is NIP's to walk away with. Very happy off the back of that.
And a Cloud Soul for this team, I just feel like is one of the nails needed to put the coffin to rest here of EDG. I just feel like they're going to be able to chase anybody down at this point. We see how this kicks off.
And it's Assum getting jumped on by everybody from EDG. Really decisive. Finally, somebody wants to do something, and Xiaohao getting it done onto the MF. Takes a little bit longer to die than expected, but watch Hoya. This is really the game-changing part of the fight. Gets the 2-man Poppy ultimate, and when you are 1 DPS threat down on this 2 DPS comp for NIP, it puts all of the pressure onto Care, and he does not drop the ball. He goes back in, forces that cleanse away from Leave, which now makes him susceptible here.
And look at this, they're so fast. They're just going to be catching up immediately to EDG. So much lockdown on the Leave and the bullet time on top of it all. That's NIP cleaning up this game, and Care is just running away with it now with the resets. They're going to go towards topside and try to push down this tier 2.
The full 25 stacks on the Magi's. NIP in their first game, their first series of the year, come in quite variable fashion is the best way to put it, but finishing it on a high note. They could definitely fish for the end if they want to, but it looks like they're kind of indecisive. Now's not the time to drop the ball, NIP. Just because the Baron buff's gone doesn't mean you can't get it down. Angel.
And there's been so many questions levied on this NIP team. We wondered what version of them we're going to get here to open up the season, and that version is about to send EDG down to the 0-2 depths. As long as they don't get out in front of them, they are going to get one of the Nexus turrets. They'll have to back off as the resets had come through from EDG, but one of the biggest questions, and one of the people I hear people throw so many doubts towards, is this Care in the mid lane. And I talked about the time on FPX, but this guy has been kind of the flex seal for so many of those FPX rosters, and I was wondering what it was going to look like if he found his slot, where he slots in on this NIP team. And right now with the combination with Guwon, it feels like they're 2 peas in a pod.
And you know what? It made the difference, because in that last play, he got Leaf's cleanse. And in this play, if Leaf had cleanse, he lives. And then we've got a very different fight. If he can cleanse that Leona ult, there's not enough time for Assum to get in range for the bullets. And at the end of the day, it was losing Leave. Again, this is a relatively low DPS comp on both sides. Losing either mid or ADC is absolutely fight losing. It is so difficult to come back and actually survive if any of these 4 players get picked off. Xiaohao has a decent amount of damage, but he's just not there yet. It's still a 3-item Wukong against a real beefy set of people on NIP.
And you can see there's that graphic we were talking about. All that time under FPX, either chained down or there willingly. Now with NIP, trying to fill in the footsteps of Doinby, like you had mentioned earlier, but trying to start up this next iteration of NIP. Last year was a failure for this team. They're looking for a new look in 2026.
And I think they want that new look to start off wearing purple. The Baron is back up. Elder is up in 2 minutes 40. We are now in the devastating overlap time, where if you lose a fight, they get Baron, whoever it is, and that will definitely lead into an Elder after the fact, as now NIP backing off, arrow down.
Baron had already been started up, about half health. EDG moving in. The Weaver's Wall going to be used. Xiaohao's now on the other side of the pit. Care catches him out. Beautiful charm on a Xiaohao. They're going to chase him down, take him down with the buckler from Hoya, and that just means the Baron goes over to NIP.
The wall cancels the Poppy ult, but guess what? You don't need to kick out the jungler if you just kill him. And now, Care going to be able to shove in this top wave. Got the double super minions walking in. Hoya on the mid lane as well, being able to shove in there. It means that EDG are stuck between a rock and a hard place, and Talia can't move this one.
Felt like Care had a 360 no-scope charm right there. I don't know, man. He just had the angle, predicted Xiaohao's dodge, and this is going to be double lanes going down. Baron minions aplenty, and Care with the rest of NIP looking aggressive as hell.
I don't think that EDG have enough damage with Wukong dead to fight this.
The turret's respawning. They'll have one turret coming back up. It should come through, so they'll at least get a little half health, but it doesn't matter in the end. Leaves trying his damnedest. He's going to get the reset, so he'll get a little bit of range coming through, but it doesn't matter. NIP strike into the season, take down EDG, and rise up to 1-0 in their first series.
People who were prepared for that? 0.
Congratulations. Hats off to you.
I'm quite impressed with how NIP were able to finish off that game in what had turned into... I honestly thought I was watching an LCK game in the middle of that. It was proper lull state energy. There was nothing happening. Both teams just too afraid to push the pedal and actually force something. And finally, we get to see NIP pull the trigger. Care got that confidence that he needed to be the big man for the team.
I gotta say, the smile from ear to ear on Assum's face right now, I am giddy for this guy. I mean, he had a hell of a pop-off in game number 2. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, the Leave is the guy that used to be in his seat just last year. And he just outperformed in 2 games in a row by far.
Yeah, I'm very happy of how they're able to execute on that, considering Assum started his split going like 1-9 or whatever on Aphelios. The score number doesn't matter. The feeling is all that matters. Absolutely horrible way to start off your season, and being able to bounce back from that, to have a killer Kaiser game and a controlled Misfortune game straight after. Very, very impressive. Working with his team, who I would say put together 3 completely different comps and executed 2 of them very well, and 1 of them they fumbled, but I think they honestly played it as well as they could after the fumble.
True. Well, what a series, and honestly, I'm glad it went to 3 games. I knew it was coming. Felt a little hesitancy after that EDG first game, but that's what happens when you get a massive lead early. Do you have any big takeaways from today, Melvin? Do you have any thoughts coming off of today and the foray into the LPL season?
I think I've got 2 big ones, and firstly, EDG, scared. Something about this team is not working well together. Xiaohao, I think, is probably the standout member with Leave, but this team's consistency just is not there yet. They need something, and I don't know if it is just get simpler comps and then work up from there, or what. Maybe it's too much pressure being put on these players that haven't really found their synergy yet. Something about EDG doesn't look right. When they were in Demacia Cup, it felt a lot less scared, really. I would say that's the main thing I'll take away from them.
Okay. I like it. Well, Melvin, it's been a pleasure. And we got to cover our first 3-game day, 3-series day, at least. It was a lot of fun. I got to join you at least for the tail end of the 2nd series. But it's been a pleasure. And I got to say, we'll be back tomorrow because the LPL never stops. We'll have 2 more games coming on tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun. But it's been a pleasure. It's crazy to see IP upsetting everybody's doubts coming into this one and taking EDG down. Now EDG really got to start figuring out what they're going to do, because Group Perseverance, not as many games there. So shout out to you, Melvin. Shout out to Rafa from earlier as the casters. Brett, who was behind us the entire time as our producer. Thank you so much. And everybody else involved for pitching in, but also showing love to the LPL. We'll see you tomorrow at the normal start time for LPL English, and we'll see you there on Summoner's Rift.